Okay, here we go. I'm
Let's
like,
go.
I gotta cut myself off because I don't wanna waste the good stuff. You're a hoot already, I can tell.
Here.
16 Candles, one of my
Who doesn't know that
favorite.
reference? Who does not know that reference of Joan Cusack, like, trying to get the water from the water fountain, and here we are.
It's so good. Holy shit, I've got to you just made me think, and I know we're gonna be talking about kids today. I have a 12-year-old that's gonna be 13 in February, and we're going through so many life changes right now, and that movie right there, she's never seen. So I feel like we gotta watch that now.
These are the classics that our kids absolutely have to see. They would never be made today. They would never be made today, but they're funny.
Yeah, yeah, classic for sure. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm like thinking we're gonna do that. We're gonna have to watch that tonight. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
well,
12
hi.
to 12-year-old daughter turning 13, you are, like, right there. You are in it deep.
So deep, and wait until you hear a little bit about my life right now, which is a dumpster fire. So your interview is like the title of the show is called Just Women Talking Shit. So we're gonna talk about all kinds of shit, right? But my life shit will come out, I'm sure, because again, got the girl, and up until recently, I had 3 stepsons as well. One of them 16. So that was a
Ooh.
whole yeah. Anywho, let me introduce you, Randy.
Okay.
Miss Randi Crawford. You are a life coach, right?
I can't stand if we're just women
I
talking
hate it.
shit, I hate the term life coach. I mean, I would say I'm more
Me
of a
too.
parenting coach, but I'm more of a coach. I'm like your cheerleader, I'm your support person, and I help you get from A to B. Like, the whole life coach is like, "I'm here and I have the answers." I don't know shit. What I
Yeah.
do know how to do is cheer people on and help them get unstuck. That's what I do.
Love that you say that because when I too, people have called me their life coach for years, and it makes you feel some type of way. Like I don't have all the answers. I think I'm willing to like live out loud, and I might be a little like I'm more knowledgeable in some subjects, or you don't see it this way yet, and you're just like a few steps ahead of them, and you're helping them dig out of their hole by exposing your own shit. Is what I feel like life coaching is. So I just resonate with that because I'm like, I don't like it either. I wonder what that
I
is.
agree, I agree totally. When you think of a life coach, let's go back to 16 Candles, it's like cringe, you feel like, "Oh, I'm a life coach and I have the answers." No, I don't, and I'm not a therapist, we're not deep diving back into, like, when you were a child. We're
Uh-huh.
here to work together to help you. I work with the young girls, I work with a lot of college age and high school girls to kinda help them navigate life, but I really realized that the big part of the problem is the parents, and I'm not saying that to be judgmental. I was one of them, I will raise my hand first. But the problem is the way that we are parenting. And so, if anything, I'm a parent coach, but again, I don't judge these women. I just like, they'll say to me, "Randy, how did we get here?" And I'm like, "Really? Let's think about it. Let's think about some of your choices and the way that you're raising your daughters." And that's how they start to be able to step back and say, like, maybe I should have let my kid figure that one out. It's not life or death here.
Man, I got full body chills already because I don't know if you believe in like synchronicities and how this conversation feels so where I'm at in life right now.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you believe in any of that, but I got chills. I was like, "Oh God, she's about to tell me so much stuff that I need to hear that is going to help me through these next few weeks." So you're not a life coach, you're a parent coach. Really, you're just
I'm a coach.
you're just we'll just say coach. But I wanna know a little bit more about you, like, how did you get into this? How many kids do you have? Why are you
Okay.
so passionate about it? Like,
Okay,
tell me a
I
little bit
am so
about you.
passionate about it. So I used
Mhm.
to be the co-founder of a public healthcare company for women in menopause, and I did that for many, many years. Now, very ironically, and I will not get on my soapbox, but we were a small cap company, and at the time, we were wiped out because of this whole nurses' health study. Because one of the things that our sales force promoted were hormones for menopausal women. Well, today, basically 20 years later, they have come out and said, we're reversing our position on that study. And guess what, women? Menopausal women, i.e., me, these hormones are actually more beneficial for you. And we're like dialing back what we said. So for me, it's like, I want to kill you, but I'm happy, very, very happy for menopausal women. So I did that. That was my whole life. And I had young kids at the time. So I stopped working pretty abruptly when my kids were around. I want to say like 2 and 4, 3 and 5, somewhere in that area. And I became a stay at home mom. And I was like, I'm not going to go back to work for a couple of years because I am like an all or nothing, no balance kind of a gal. But like a couple of years just you know how it is when you're a mom, like 2 years is 5 years is 10
Mhm.
years. And then one day you're like, what am I doing? Like, I have way too much energy to just not be doing anything when my kids now are driving, no longer need me, the whole thing. So, my husband at this point was like, listen, Randy, go do something fun. Like, you've always been such an intense workaholic. So, I got a job in retail. So, I currently, and I still do this, I'm a stylist to Anthropology because I think that that is so fun. It's like a girls' night out. Who doesn't love having fun with other women? So, I do that once a week. But when I started doing that, all these women coming in were basically every woman that I know. It's the menopausal woman, it's the woman with her daughter, it's the whole shebang. And I was like, you know what? I know the phase that they're in, and I know that I could help them. And that, when you asked me if I'm into synchrodestiny, are you kidding me? My background, when I ran the public healthcare company, Deepak Chopra was on our board, our health advisory board. I did his program many years ago called Synchrodestiny. There's no one believes in that more than me. The universe talks to us every single day, but we have to be able to listen. We have to be open to it. And it's like the people that don't get it, they'll get it when all of a sudden one day it's like a crater just falls right in front of them. So, yes, big believer in not everything happens for a reason, but the universe is always talking to us. And the universe was basically talking to me. There's way too many stories involved there. But that's when I really realized I want my dream. I've always worked with women. So, in my coaching business, I mainly work with women.
Mhm.
And that is why I absolutely am so passionate about what I do. Now, when I got into it, just so you know, I thought I'd be working with the menopausal women, but they all called me to work with their daughters, which was a pivot because I'm like, what? Like, you're the ones that are kind of cranky and a little salty or a little testy when you come in shopping. I get it. You're menopausal. Like, I know all the things. But I started working with their daughters. And after working with their daughters, I'm like, okay, the problem here, the reason that I'm working with these very lovely, beautiful, smart, talented young women who can't figure out what to order for lunch every day at college is because of the way that they've been parented. So that's how I transitioned the business into working with them and their parents. And to answer your question, I have two kids. I have a 25-year-old daughter and a 23-year-old son.
Okay. You gotta love a good pivot. Isn't
You
that
gotta love a good pivot.
so many people try to resist it, but there's power in the pivot, right?
There is listen, I love work listen, all the girls I work with in Anthropology are young girls. I love them so much. I haven't been able to work because of my spine surgery, and, like, we all text each other. They're like, "When are you coming back?" I love that age because all the girls I work with are that age. I love them. I love their energy and their passion, and they've taught me so much about when people make generalizations, like kids this age don't wanna work, and I'm watching girls go to school, be in sororities, work, the whole thing. So I completely disagree with that no one wants to work. But it was a pivot because for me, I wanted to help women in midlife repurpose. And by the way, I really am passionate about that because we have a whole generation of parents who are living their kids' lives for them and will not let go, will not let go.
Holy crap. That like struck something in me because, okay, so just a little bit about where I'm at in life right now so we can like get some context and you
Hmm.
can understand a little bit better. But over the weekend, we had a really big rupture in our family. I am married to a man with three boys. I have a daughter and we have a son together, right? Her father passed away in 2021. They were super close. My relationship with him was super toxic. We were on our second custody battle. Um, and the way he died was just really like traumatic. He overdosed and had a heart attack while he was out of town. So there's like all of this that a 7-year-old little girl cannot. It's been really rough, right? And so now she's 12. I've been married for we just hit our 5-year mark, together 6, almost 7 years, right? And over the weekend, and when we talk about like raising our girls and you work primarily with women, I know we're going to talk about kids in general, teenagers and like staying present and all that, but my dreams for my daughter when I met him and met his boys, like I felt good about it because I thought that, and her father hadn't died yet either. But in my mind, I thought, oh my God, we're like going to live in a castle with knights and a king and princes and they're going to protect us. And right. I felt like, oh, and it did not turn out that way. We are 7 years in and my husband still doesn't have a relationship with her the kids use us against each other. I parent very differently than he parents and his ex-wife parents. So there's just like all these really interesting components that are clashing. But over the weekend, we had a huge rupture. And I always told him that when it comes down to it, I know we got a kid together, but like she only has one parent, you know? She's got the one, and I gotta make the most of it.
Mhm.
But long story short, we are now I'm staying at my mom's. I left because I just can't. It goes back to that universe talking to you. It's something I've been ignoring for a very long time. But I think after about 7 years of giving it a shot, our kids do not blend. They do not act like brother and sister. They act like enemies. And then we've got the component of the way we parent, and the fact that his family does not like me because I am so out there. I don't button up and I don't try to be a cookie cutter wife or any of that.
Mhm.
We clash in that aspect too. So it's like this whole family, this is what it feels like to me. I can't speak for them, but it feels to me, I feel like it will never work no matter how hard we try or how hard we compromise. And it got to almost a physical aspect over the weekend. So I said, like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Um, and I walked away. And I truly feel like I made the right decision for my daughter, for my son, and my son is handling it extremely well. Scary how well they handle it. That's what
Mhm.
kept me in the relationship so long is because I thought he's not gonna be able to handle it. He's gonna wake up, where's daddy? It has shown me how incredibly strong and resilient my kids are. This little boy has he out of all these older, my husband, the older one, my 4-year-old makes me feel protected. He makes me feel secure. He has not he I'm protecting you, mommy. It's been this whole he is like showing up. It's so wild how resilient they are. And my daughter is already, I notice her anxiety down. Like it's just insane. The energy is just different. And so I had to give you a little bit of a
Well, you know the thing
backstory.
that I heard that you say first that I just think is so amazing, and I just wanna say to you, like, kudos to you, when you told me about the relationship with your daughter and her dad who has passed.
Hmm.
And the fact that she was so close with him tells me that you didn't, like, shit on him, and
Yeah.
because the worst thing that you can do, right, even right now, is to really talk negatively about this like, the fact that you didn't do that about because it's her dad, and
Yeah.
the minute you said that, it tells me you are such an amazing mom because that's putting your daughter first. I think that would be really hard to be in that kinda situation, and you never did that, and therefore, she was able to have that close relationship, so you should just feel so proud, and obviously, the way that you're raising them, for real, they must know that your son and your daughter both have, like, much less anxiety, and again, it's not because you've taken them out of that environment and you're like, "Listen, we need to stay away from the big bad monster." You just did what was right for them, and you're keeping it on the up and up. That's what we have to do as parents. You're being a parent, and nobody wants to be a parent today, and I think it's just
It's
amazing.
hard.
Hard, it's so hard.
It's so fucking hard. It is so hard, and
I
it's
know.
to and to know that, like so I have love for him. I think if we were just dating and dated forever and our kids never lived together, maybe we make it work, I don't know. But it's such a difficult situation to be in, and yeah, talk about parenting at a new level to love somebody and walk away because you know the kids they're like, it showed me, and I told him this as I went and got some of our things to bring to my mom's. I told him, I said, "It became so evident the other night," and he was drinking, I will say that, and that never makes the situation better.
Mm.
I will raise my hand, I've caused a lot of fucking problems when there's alcohol involved, but I think the fact that I was so sober, I was able to see things so clearly that normally would have kind of been thrown in my face and confused me to stay, if that makes sense. But yeah, parenting at a new level to be able to say, "You know what? I know that she's gonna go down a really dark road if I don't make a difference, and it doesn't matter how much I am in love with him." Because and if we stop and think about it, I'm taking my son away. Like, it's a really hard sacrifice, and to be able to make that decision that even though he's not gonna be living with his dad anymore, I think she's gonna be okay. It's just when I say a mind fuck, it's been a mind fuck, Randy.
Well, I
But
know, but also,
thank you
think
for
about what
saying
you
that.
just said. You said you've caused a lot of problems when there's alcohol involved. I don't care what you have said or done when there's alcohol involved. If he even had the thought of getting physical with you, that's not on you at all. That's on him. And I'm so happy you removed yourself from that situation because there's no excuse for that ever. I'll let so many things fly, but not that. So I think you did the right thing, but you're right. It is also complex, but one thing that happens with families, right? Especially now that you have this son together, um, one thing that I find really toxic is when people don't understand how to communicate. So for me, like before people like just say I'm cutting that person out completely or I'm going to ghost that person or whatever, we are also emotionally immature. If you can literally keep the lines of communication open with both of your kids, age appropriate, it will make all
Mhm.
the difference in the world. If your daughter's 12, about to be 13, you can have that talk with her and explain to her. And she obviously understands it and feels safe. But with the 4-year-old, again, without talking negatively about your husband who you've just walked away from, and I don't know if that's going to last or not last, but you want to keep communicating with your son so he understands that his dad still loves him, and that you doing what you doing for you has nothing to do with him. That is all so important because today nobody does that. They just say, I'm estranged from my family. I've cut them off. I have
Mhm.
boundaries. There's too much trauma. And we throw around that word trauma like we're talking about, it's like we have to be very careful with these words. And as long as you're communicating, I think you are doing the right thing.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. It's been just the timing of this conversation is so funny to me.
It's
Ironic,
crazy. It's crazy.
funny, weird, coincidental, whatever you wanna say. One thing that I noticed whenever I was living there, and he said it too, and I felt this way too, we all felt this way about each other, is that we had to kind of walk on eggshells, and so I've got some questions I wanna ask you. But I noticed with her getting older, I feel like I have to walk on eggshells around her because she's so emotional and hormonal and has opinions and shit, and, like, I feel like I can't win for losing, so I feel like, so many other moms feel like they're also walking on eggshells for their teenagers. So I'm curious, like, how can we set some firm boundaries without slipping into that controlling, like that can, because that's what I find myself doing is like I'm really kind of trying to control the outcome or what she's doing or creating conflict. Do you have any tips
Yeah,
there?
I do. I really do. This age, if you think about it, being a girl or a young boy that age, their life is digital, whether or not people want to admit that. These kids are online all the time. They are in such a fishbowl all day, every day, from the minute they wake up. It's like just think about that they put on a mask. And when they're in class with a teacher, they put on a mask. And when they're with this friend group, they put on a mask. And when they're in front of boys, they put on another mask. And by the time your teenager gets home, they are exhausted. They literally are so exhausted, and then we get right in their face, and we wanna know, "How was your day? What'd you do? Who'd you eat with? Did you have a good day? Did you have a bad day? Did you do your homework? Did you pass your test?" And we just bombard them, right? And we don't I'm not saying, like, ever to let disrespect cross the line, but I'm saying we also have to give them grace. Let them have downtime. Let them be alone. Let them take off the masks, and if they do, I don't wanna say show a little disrespect, but if they just say, "Please, just leave me alone, like, you're breathing wrong, you're chewing too loudly," just give them, like, the downtime because it's you that they're taking it out on. They're not taking it out on their friends. They know that anything they say and do can be captured on video and then shown to everyone on Snapchat or Instagram. So it's like, I think parents need to understand, yeah, we have to set boundaries and stop being their friend and start being their parent, but we also have to get out of their face the minute that they walk in the door and bombard them with a million questions because they need some downtime. And I don't think we allow our kids downtime today because we feel like in order to keep up with the Joneses, they need to be at school. They need to have an after school sport. They need to be in some sort of a club. They need to be thriving. They need to be doing what they could be doing to get into a good college. And we need to just stop checking boxes off a list and let our kids just be a little.
Yeah, I'm finding that with her, and I think it really helps to put myself like back in the mindset of being a kid.
Mhm.
And I think about how, for instance, let's say that she's having a meltdown, or even, my son's having a meltdown, something that I think is so like, come on, that's not a big deal. I remember being like in the fifth or sixth grade and something feeling so fucking huge to me. It was my whole world. It was my livelihood. And like when someone didn't take me seriously, or, oh, you're being dramatic, or like, oh, no wonder I have insecurities and I don't feel like I can use my voice because I didn't feel listened to. So that makes complete sense, and I'm so guilty. I'm so guilty of it the second she gets in the car. "How was your day? What did you do?" And she always, like, she'll well, at least when we were living there, she's already getting better about this, I feel like. But when I used to, she'd get in the car and you could just that mask thing you mentioned, I can just tell her energy is, like, depleted. Like, she
Mhm.
just is she's acting weird and shady and squirrely and, like, doesn't wanna talk to me, and, like, just anything I ask her, she's just like, "Oh, no. Okay." And I'm like and I take offense to it because 'cause I'm
Of
like, "She doesn't
course.
wanna talk to me, and she doesn't need me," and so that makes sense, total
But the other thing
sense.
you also just said, I'll be honest with you, the listening thing is another thing that I talk to parents about all the time, and I was so guilty of this to the point where, like, my kids would actually say, "Stop interrupting me." Because what happens is we ask them a question, right? And they start to tell us about whatever it is. And they have learned by the way that we have behaved, they have learned to shut us down because what they know is they start to tell us about something and we are listening partially. And the other side of us is already like our wheels are turning. Like, how can we fix this problem for them? Who do we need to call? I'm going to call the teacher. I'm going to call her friend's mother. I'm going to call, so we never, one thing we really don't do, and it sounds so simple and it sounds so cliche, is really just listen to them. So, for instance, my dad always called it reading the tea leaves when I was growing up. If you're
Mhm.
really listening to them and they get in the car and they just feel depleted, that's where you read the room and you just don't come in hot, right? Like, if you're really listening to them, you're seeing that they just want to be alone with their thoughts for a minute. And then what you can maybe do is, start to find a fun routine of like, whatever, you go to the kitchen after school and whatever, you go, I don't know, you go get a frozen yogurt or a Starbucks or however it is. And then maybe the question is just simply, hey, do you have anything you want to talk about? I'm just here to listen. If you want me, and then as they get older, it becomes, do you want advice or do you want me, or do you just want to vent? Because as parents, we do not, and me included, we do not ever just listen because we are invested in the outcome. And so for us to just listen and then hear that they need help with something that we could so easily fix, we are already trying to figure out how to fix it. And we have to stop doing that because that's when they start shutting down. That's when they stop coming to us. And that is when we are robbing them of the problem solving skills and the building resilience skills because we never allow them to feel that discomfort or that pain. We see, like, ugh, they could just pass that test if I would just go ahead and get what? What is the conversation here? I'll just get a tutor. She'll come over. She'll pass the test. No, that's not what she's saying. So we must stop and listen to our kids.
This segued perfectly into my second question because a lot of women tell me that like they feel exhausted from trying to fix everything for their kids. And I see this, especially in like the town that our house is in. Everybody is trying to keep up with this appearance. And like I remember a big thing here is like travel ball and sports.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves their sports. And I see so many kids, one of my stepsons even, that like I'm just like, is he really playing because he likes it? I don't think so. I think that he's just expected to play, and I feel like we do that for we try to fix everything. So, I'm curious, like, how do we actually let go in a way that builds a teen's confidence rather than making them feel abandoned or unsupported?
Well, we absolutely keep we keep the door open for the conversation, right? And when they do tell us something, we don't ever shame them for what they tell us. Like a great example is phone use. People always ask me, "How do I get my kid to get off their phone less?" Blah blah blah. And I say, "Okay, you have to start with taking an inventory of how much you're on the phone." Now, any one of us knows. Every one of us knows because we are all addicted to our phones. Whoever tells me they're not, I call BS. If you actually look on Sundays when it comes up and it's like, Randy, you've been on your phone for like an average of 6 hours a day. And I'm like, what? No, I haven't. That's baloney. I work, I do this, I do that. So the truth is, right? Say that's just an example. Your kid tells you something, rather than immediately shame them or get angry about what they tell you, they need to know they can come to you without judgment. So you have to keep that door open. Now, sports, listen, we could talk sports all day. Both of my kids were in sports. My son, it was like the whole thing from the time he was 2 years old. We never, ever stopped sports because he could have gone and she could have gone and the whole thing. And it was funny. Again, I'm so guilty of this. He would tell me all through high school, I don't want to go play in college. But guess what? He was really good, or she was really good at cheer, or whatever it was. And you're a parent. And of course, what do you think we're going to think? We're going to think, listen, you're a knucklehead. You don't want to go to school. You don't want to do the classes, but you're going to get in playing your sport. So let's just like not mess around. I know what's best for you. And that's what we do. We all do this. And then all of a sudden, something rocks our world. For me, something Talk about the universe speaking, my son tore his ACL. That was a world rocking experience because when that happened during his sophomore year, it made it very, very clear that he was out for about a year, a very long recovery. And it was such a wake up call for me because when he couldn't play all these sports, he was doing other things with his time. And I wasn't going to complain about it, but it was like, he's interested in other things besides sports. And of course, by the end of that time, he went back to sports, the junior and senior year, got the offers, and came to me and said, Mom, I really don't want to play. I want to be a college student. I want to have fun. I don't want to have two full-time jobs. But it took that. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's embarrassing. And shame on me. Why do we think just because our kids can, that they should? It's the worst philosophy ever. Just because you can does not mean you should. We must listen to our kids. If your kid is the kid that is coming to you saying, Mom, I want the extra practices. Please get me a nutritionist. Please get me a speed and agility coach. Please get me extra time with the coach. Please pay for my club team so I can travel across the country every summer. When they're coming to you and they are that kid, that is the kid that will put in the work, and that is the kid that really is hungry for it. When you have the kid that is like, oh, I have to go back across the country to the East Coast this summer, 5 times? And you're the knucklehead idiot that's spending all this money to do it when they don't want to be doing it? Stop. Stop what you're doing and really take inventory and listen to your kid because I am telling you, so many parents do that. And then, by the way, and we could get really dark here, there are a lot of kids that do. They go all the way through the process. They get the offer. They get to college. And here's what happens to that kid. Because I'm in California. Every kid I know went to go play a D1 sport, whether volleyball, basketball, football, lacrosse, they all from California, you play sports year round. So when everyone says it's so hard to get the offers, it is, but for kids here, it's much more normal. And here's what happens. Those kids get to the college. They are in the middle of the pack, by the way. They're no longer the best kid on the team. They're the middle of the pack because there's a lot of really good athletes from around the country. And it is literally a job. So their job is school and their job is their sport. They can't, I mean, they're just like, they're running on empty from 5 in the morning until God knows what time at night. And they are not happy. And then for a lot of them, it very significantly impacts their mental health because I work with a lot of young athletes. And they're miserable. They don't want to tell their parents because look at all the sacrifices their parents made to get here. So I know this is a whole different direction than you were thinking, but this sports can be a very crazy, unless your kid is that hungry animal that wants it. I urge parents to step back and ask their kids what they want, not what the parents want.
Yeah, and I think that this goes you mentioned sport, that we were talking about sports, but guys, this is like the pressure to go a certain career path. Like, I see that a lot, like a family of lawyers or a family of doctors, so you're expected to do this, or and maybe they wanna play fucking guitar and just sing for, if whatever you can make doing that. You see it more and more. I think this is just my perspective. I think that a lot of us parents who do that are trying to make up for something that they didn't have, like, when they were a kid, or it just seems like this weird unspoken pressure to, like, it's a reflection of them, I guess, and so it just gets real
Yes
messy
and
real
no. I'm
quick.
going to agree and disagree with that. And I'm going to
Okay,
tell you
what's your
why.
perspective?
Well, my perspective is because specifically, our son used to say to us, like, "You just want me to go play a sport so you can tell everyone I got an offer to go to X, Y, and Z." I am telling you, as God is my witness, that is not the truth. But here's where we were guilty. It was just like when you're a parent and you see your kid excel at something, it's that, okay, listen, this is the age-old problem I have with parents right now, and I am the prime example. Like, if your kid can get that scholarship, why wouldn't they try for it? Why
Mhm.
wouldn't they try and get into a school that's way better, possibly way better, than they could get into. So for me, it was not about bragging rights ever. I'm not that person that really cares. I'm not a sheep and I never have been. However, I am that parent that did not listen to my kid and just kept thinking, why, if all these colleges are saying we want you, would you not want to go? Now it's a guaranteed in, but I was never thinking about the other side of it. No, yeah, there are a ton of parents, absolutely, that want to live through their kids and like they never could do this and their kid can. So I think we're just all guilty in different ways, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying, because we see something so clearly that we're like, they don't see it, but we see it. Oh, and we are the ones paying for it. So there's that too. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, this is going to pay for my kids X, Y, and Z. So that's another huge motivation for your kid to go to school on some type of a scholarship. So there's a lot of reasons that we do it. But I think the biggest thing that parents ask themselves, and they challenge me when I make little TikToks and whatnot, is if I can help my kid, why wouldn't I? And now
Yeah.
today I say, I'll tell you exactly why. Because your kid needs to learn to do these things for themselves, or they need to want it for themselves. And the simple way of saying that is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Can we talk about like the emotions and whatnot whenever it comes to teenagers? Because that's something I'm experiencing is like really high emotions. And sometimes it like results in like a slam door or she'll just like completely shut down. Or oh, the attitude. Oh my God, the attitude. Um, and it feels sometimes like it's hard to stay grounded, you know? Like I find myself wanting to like almost fight back, but I'm the adult, right? So do you have any like go-to strategies whenever it comes to staying grounded, staying present instead of reacting so quickly and trying to like fix everything or I don't know. When
100%.
there's like
Here's what I'm gonna tell
supercharged
you.
moments.
You're like about the synchro destiny and the synchronicity, and so I
Yeah.
would tell you, and I learned this back when I took Deepak's program. The emotions are so high with the teenagers, there's just no question about that, and I know literally I experienced all of this, and first of
Yeah.
all, the minute you start raising your voice, you've already lost, right? So the minute you
Mm.
have to yell, you've already lost the battle. So just know that going in. I think that when it comes to the really heated arguments, the very best thing you could do is to just walk away, take a couple of really deep breaths. I'm talking like the box breathing that the Marines do, like the 4-4-4, 5-5-5. I don't care what it is. But do like 3 to 5 of those deep breaths before you respond to your kid. And think about it in your own mind like this. We can react or we can respond, right? When you think about firemen, they're called first responders, not first reactors for a reason, because we want to be able to respond to our teen and not react because they want to get the reaction. And when they get the
Right.
reaction, they've won, you've lost. So for the parent to stay calm and cool, it's literally about taking your own time out, taking yourself out of it for a minute. And then when you have taken your few breaths and you are calm and you are not raising your voice, that is when you have your conversation, which is, I am going to set these boundaries. And I totally understand your emotions about X, Y, and Z, but this is what we're never
Mhm.
going to do. This is what you are not going to do when we are having this kind of argument. But you have to do that when you are not screaming or yelling. So you have to set that boundary while you are talking to them calmly, because the number one thing you want to do is build trust. And when the trust is built, it's like, again, when you listen to them. So say she comes in with an emotional freak out. Let her have the whole freak out. Listen to the whole thing. Then walk away, calm yourself before you react, and then come back and say, okay, I heard you. I heard you. But here's what's not okay about what you just did. You want to slowly build that trust. So if you scream and freak out on her, you're not building trust. But if you respond to her and say, I hear you. I hear what's upsetting you. And like you said, you wanted to be heard when you were younger. You're showing her
Yeah.
the respect that this ridiculous thing that's bothering her, you're going to get on the same page as her. And then when you calmly do it, you slowly build her respect. And she's like, okay. So, number one, if she doesn't get the reaction from you, it's not going to be fun for her to have these freakouts. We all know that. Like, we're human. If somebody freaks, they want to like get a reaction and they want you to freak. As soon as you stop doing that, it like just takes all the edge off the fire and she's not going to want to do it anymore. And when you listen to her, she's going to be really shocked. Like, wow, mom just let me have that whole freak out. But then you're going to say to her, but here's what we're not going to do. These are some boundaries and some lines you're not going to cross. Do we understand each other? And that's the way that I would handle it.
I love that. And you said something earlier that took me back to I think it was maybe a Mel Robbins podcast episode. She was whoever her guest was, she was saying that when they are high in emotions and they're going through something, it goes back to us wanting to fix everything, right? But that we should ask them like, okay, before you start, are you wanting advice or do you want me to just listen? And I feel like I heard you say that earlier. And I remember hearing that and talking with her about it. And one day she was going through something and she threw it in my face. She said, "You told me. You told me that you would just listen sometimes." And so I was just like, "Oh, shit." Yeah, because I go into, "Oh, well, maybe you should do this and this and this
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
and this," because it feels like, her what she's going through, her behavior, her feelings, her life experience, it feels like a reflection to me. And like, maybe I'm not doing enough or like I'm failing is what it feels like sometimes. And so, in your line of work, do you come across parents who feel like they're in this victim mindset
Well, I
of
think
like,
that parents think I think without hesitation, what you just said, parents all think their kids are a direct extension of them.
oh,
And it's so interesting. They're not. They these kids are growing up in such a different time than we grew up, and then I grew up than you, and you grew up than me, and we both grew up from her. They're gonna get from A to B in a very different way than you or I might get from A to B. And how they get there does not make you right or wrong or a failure. And yes, parents, so it's like, let's just say, you know how like everybody loves to hate that mom that always does the humble brag on Facebook. Why I'm not even on Facebook, by the way. Like, oh, my son just got, asked to like his 15th D1 offer, and all the
uh-huh,
moms are like in carpool, like, can she just shut the hell up? You know what I mean? So there is that mom, right, that loves the humble brag. But then, as much as we hate that mom, we go home and we're like, God, my kid didn't even get one D offer yet. You know what I mean? And then we start feeling terrible
yeah,
about ourselves. We are in a comparison culture because of social media. And anyone that doesn't recognize that or admit that is absolutely batshit crazy. We can't help but do that. I mean, we see it, it's in our face day in and day out. So it's like, no, we're not a failure because our kid maybe like, grew up, but like took them a little bit longer to grow up or it took
mhm,
them longer to get the memo that like, we don't do X, Y, and Z things. Or, oh no, my kid was caught vaping in the high school parking lot while her kid was getting all of these offers. If we look at it like that, then yeah, we are a big fat failure, but that's not the way to look at it. Everything is about perspective, and we have to put on the lenses of our own family. I'm not going to compare my family to yours. I'm going to compare my family to mine. And like, what are my expectations? What are my values? And what do I want for my kids going forward? And what do they want? And how do they want to get there? So, as soon, it's like if we all lived in a world where we didn't think everyone else was looking at us and judging us,
mhm,
I think, oh God, we'd be so much happier and we would do so much more and we would try so much more. But unfortunately, that is not reality. Reality is we all have social media and we all know what everyone else is doing. We have to start looking inward and we have to start doing what works for us, not what works for the family next to us. That's the biggest problem we face.
it's spot on. The comparison is like, and that's, I find it interesting. And this kind of leads into my next question, but like the whole social media aspect was supposed to connect us more, right? And it just feels like everybody just like kind of stands back and watches your life and they're either jealous or they're cheering you on. But either way, it's just comparison and not actual connection, which is why I love this podcast and why I love, my whole brand and my vision because I want to be more connected. I see how disconnected it makes us. But I want to be more connected to her. I want to be more connected to. I mean, she's truly turning into a woman. She has her period. She's talking about boys, all the freaking things, right? All the emotions, all that. So I'm curious because I know like a lot of other parents want better connection with their teenagers, but I feel like we don't really know where to start because, like you said, we're living in such vast different times. Like, connection for me feels like we could pack a picnic and go for a little picnic, but maybe for her, it's like we go skating together. But maybe I'm not listening enough. Where do we start with connecting with our teens?
Well, so the thing that I tell everybody is this. You always start with little itty bitty baby steps, right? So you don't say
Mhm,
something like, I want to connect with my teen. I'm going to start thinking of some grandiose things we can do either once a week or once a month, because that's going to fall flat. It's not going to meet your expectation. It's not going to meet her expectation. And then everyone's going to feel bummed out about it. So what I
okay.
think is best is you ask her, what does she love? Does she love getting a Starbucks? Does she love going to In-N-Out or Chipotle or wherever? What is one little thing she loves, right? And then make it a little thing or just once a week. Not every day. Once a week, be like, we're going to do this special thing where you take her to whatever it is that she loves to do. You do
Mhm,
not have your phones out. You are not looking at your phone. You're not answering anything about your podcast, your job, your nothing. Phones away. And I don't care if this is a 15-minute activity or a 30-minute activity. It's whatever works because it's the quality time, right? And I did learn
yeah,
that through the Jay Shetty podcast, which is so brilliant, which is like, or when I was taking the course, I mean, and getting certified. It's not about spending an hour with your daughter because You're spending an hour with her, but you're on your phone for 45 minutes. You've
Yeah.
just spent 15 minutes with you, right? It just doesn't work. So you go do something that makes her happy that she would enjoy. Like, say it's a really big treat. I just keep on going back to Starbucks. I don't even drink Starbucks, but all the young girls love their macchiatos and all that crap.
I was gonna
Whatever.
say, yeah, no, she's obsessed with Starbucks, so this
Okay.
is
So
yeah,
make it a Starbucks thing where, like, you're like, "You know what? Let's just go get Starbucks, like, on Wednesdays or whatever day works for her." And you go, you get it, she's in the car, you can't be on your phone because 'cause you're driving, she's talking, and it's just like and maybe the first couple times you go, you're driving, you're not on your phone, and she's in the back seat or she's in the front seat and she's on her phone. That's fine. Slowly you will start to build that thing. And all of a sudden, it's like you find that this little thing, she starts opening up to you and being like, Mom, I've always really wanted to do yoga or whatever it is that she says to you,
yeah,
and you just listen and because when people, let's move this conversation into then the confidence conversation. And people
okay,
constantly ask me, how does my young teen or how does my young adult build confidence? And I say they build confidence when they try new things. But when they try new things, they might not be the best. They might fail. They might fall flat on their face. It's about how they get back up. It's about them knowing that you think it's totally okay for them to fail, but you're just so happy that they tried it. We have to stop being so invested in the outcome of every single thing that they do. So the way you build that confidence and the way you bond with a teen or your young adult or your middle schooler or whatever it is, you find something that they love. You just take baby steps and you just start building from there. And you start listening while you're in the moment and you let them know that you are not judging them. And these little wins will turn into bigger wins. And the bigger wins will make them feel better. And then they will start to feel good about themselves because I don't care if it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes that they're not on their phone, they're not doom
mm,
scrolling, and they're not looking at what everybody else is doing. Because when people start to feel better about themselves, they will start to look at their social media with a different lens. And instead of looking at it and being like, "Oh, she's always doing whatever," now she'll be like, oh, good for her. She just made captain of the cheer team, but look at me. I'm getting to spend this great time with my mom, or I've now started yoga or painting or singing or whatever it is that she wants to do. So that's the way that you as a parent do that. But you have to listen to your kid. It's not you saying, hey, I think we should do X, Y, and Z. No, no, no. It's what do they want to do and make it really short. And then that time will build and build and build.
such good advice. Ugh, I need to pay closer attention. I need to give her my undivided attention. I need to practice patience for sure. Oh, yeah. No, this has been super, super helpful. Super helpful. I can't wait to try all these things out. Do you have any other tips? Anything that's like, I don't know, been on your heart to share with parents that we can close it up with?
I think that if I were to come in with anything, it's just I know it is so easy. It is so easy to come in hot because their emotions are all over the place. We have to just take a step back, all of us parents, and start realizing that our kids are not us. They're not going to do exactly what we want, exactly the way we want them to do it. So when we watch them and we feel like we're watching a car accident in slow motion because we know that it might not work out for them, do everything in your power to resist the urge to jump in and fix it. Because I think a really good visual for parents, if I were to end this, is think of cops and robbers. We play cop because we monitor every single thing that they do, but then we rob them of the ability to do that thing that they want to do. We rob them of learning the experience and building grit and building resilience and building problem solving skills because we don't want them to get hurt. We don't want them to be uncomfortable. So, parents, just stop coming in so hot. Please just take a deep, deep breath, 2 or 3. Take a step back and trust that your child can figure things out. I guarantee you, your 12-year-old, almost 13-year-old is capable of so much more than you believe. You just have to trust her.
Yeah, she is. She's so strong and she is so, my gosh, ever since she was little, I mean, I taught her this little snap and I wanted her to know that like she is a strong, independent woman. And I remember her at like 5 years old. I'm a single mom and I'm a strong, independent woman. And it's because I know that she will, yeah, the cutest little image, right? With
Yes.
her little pigtails, but because she is, like, I think you can tell really early on your child's like, if they're gonna be a leader or independent, and I was told I was bossy a lot as a kid, and that, like, made me feel bad, but it turns out I'm a really good fucking leader and communicator, and I'm not dramatic, I'm just super in tune with my feelings and my emotions and can articulate that, whereas maybe some people can't. And so I have to keep that in the forefront of my mind that I mean, this is the first time I'm, 36, almost 37, and this is the first time she's 12, almost 13, and like we're doing this for the first time together,
Yeah.
and it's I don't know, I guess we need to all give ourselves grace, but listen is what I'm really hearing as I listen to you. Like, just fucking listen, put down the phone, practice what we preach. And like you said, quit coming in so hot, which that was something really big and a huge reason why I had to get out of the house, out of out of the relationship was, we kind of ended things on she saw that the tension, I guess, and they don't respect each other, and she came in hot. She came in hot, and when he asked for that phone, she slammed it in his hand and yelled at him, and so what it yelled back, and it just turned into this whole thing, and all I could think to myself was is her reaction was very natural, and I think back to just all the years of trying to make everything work and blend. And it always just felt like, and I started doing this too because you kind of become a reflection of your partner, right? But I felt like I started getting to this point where I was only pointing out the flaws. I was only pointing out the things she wasn't doing or doing wrong. And like, at what point was I lifting her up? Right. And I think that we as parents, we think we're fixing things by telling them what to do and what not to do. And the dishwasher, for instance, I know that was a thing. Let our kids do the dishes instead of coming back and fixing it. Like I'm one of the parents that's like, no, let them fuck it up, and then they're gonna have to do it again. They're gonna have to figure out how to do it right, wash it correctly, versus being the parent, which I call a helicopter parent, going in and well, you're not, and just doing it for them, and then being mad that they don't know how to do it correctly. So this
That's
has all been
exactly what
super.
people do today. That's exactly why we are where we are, because you and I both know much easier for you or your husband to just go fix the dishes, right? It'll
Yeah.
take you 5 minutes where it'll take them an hour. Let it take your kids the hour. That's the whole point. Of course, we can do it faster and better, but that's not the point of being a parent. We want to teach our kids because the greatest gift we can give them is independence. And what you just said about your daughter's reaction is totally natural. Exactly. Of course it is. Like, as the parent, we have to be the one that it does not come in hot because they already are going to be doing that. You know what I mean? Like, give me the phone. Fine. I mean, I'm telling you, I had every one of these arguments I'll never forget with my kids in high school. Like, give me your phone. Here you go. They love to give me their phone. You know why? Because then we never did the Life 360, but we have the Find Friends on it. And they were like very happy for me to not know where so they were like, you want my phone? Take it. And now I'm like, oh, great. Now I don't know where they are. Oh, you want my car keys? Take them. Because now you have to drive me everywhere. You know, you have to be, as a parent, you have to be very aware of the punishments that you give because half the time you're punishing yourself. But that's what being a parent is. It's kind of funny
Yeah.
if it weren't not so funny.
If it weren't so fucking
Yeah,
true.
right, if it weren't so true.
Oh my gosh, you're awesome. I freaking
Thank
love you
you.
and your John Cusack
I know, this is
neck
so
brace.
awful. My dog
Oh
collar.
my god, I can't wait to watch 16 Candles with her. I
Oh my god,
cannot.
it's gonna be so funny. Oh, so funny.
Oh my god, we're gonna do it tonight because tonight's the first night that my son is going to stay with his dad on like since we separated. And so it's gonna be us girls, my mom, my sister, and my daughter. And guess who introduced me to 16 Candles? My mama.
See?
And
Oh,
so
see, I love
yes!
that.
So it's gonna, like, come full circle. Oh my
That's
god! Okay,
so
I'm so
cool.
excited.
When you watch Joan Cusack going like this to drink the water, you can laugh and think of me. It's
I'm
okay.
going to. I'm actually gonna, like, I'll probably send you a picture later.
You
Thinking of
should.
you. Thinking of you, Randy. First off, your glasses are fucking awesome, but how much
Thank
longer do you
you.
have in that neck
Well, I
brace?
go for my 1 month post-surgery next week, and I'm really hoping I've been a good girl and he's gonna say, "You can take this off." If he doesn't, like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do because this is just ridiculous.
Gotta be so annoying. Oh my god.
Well, what's annoying is I can't drive, and so I've been like a caged animal. Like, I told my husband I walked to the market the other day, and he's like, "You shouldn't be walking that far," and I'm like, "Listen to me. I need my independence back." Like, this is crazy. So, yeah, when this comes off, like and I have my and just so you know, I'm gonna have a really sick scar on my neck, and I'm totally gonna lie. I want you to know right now, I'm gonna tell people, like, somebody got behind me. I was saving someone from a bad guy, and they slit my throat. Like, I gotta go big with the lie.
Oh my god. No, and you should change the story every single time. Just,
Oh,
like,
totally.
every single time. "Yeah, this is from the time that I
I
was
mean, why not?
incarcerated," and I don't
I'm definitely not saying spine surgery, that's just lame.
all day,
I
all day.
know. Well, as long as you can laugh at my expense, excellent.
Oh, and you're okay though, because that sounds like an insanely intense fucking surgery.
No, I'm totally okay, that's the good news, yeah.
Okay, Randy, where can I love you, you're amazing, but where can everybody find you, and how can they
Okay,
work
so
with
I have a
you, all the
website.
things?
I have a website, which is randicrawfordcoaching.com, Randy with
Mhm.
an I, and then I'm on TikTok and Instagram, just Randy Crawford Coaching, and, yeah, I get a lot of hate on my TikToks because moms are really angry with me when I point out that, we're doing a little bit too much for them. They ask me what kind of who hurt me as a child, like, what kind of a life coach am I? So, I mean, this is where we're at. I thought that it would be much different than that, but you know what? If I have to have some haters, that's okay.
If you have haters, you're doing something right,
I hope
for
so.
sure.
I
Yeah,
hope
no,
so.
I get a lot of backlash too, so we can just, like, be outcasts together, it's
I'm
fine.
happy with that. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's okay, because 'cause we're raising amazing humans, and it's okay. But
Exactly.
this has been amazing, I'm so glad I got to meet you, I'm beyond grateful for all your expertise, for all your tips. I know that my listeners are gonna go bananas over this episode because, I don't know, the hormones and emotions are high for these teenagers, and I'm like, "This has helped me so much, and I feel better going forward," so I can only imagine it's gonna help everyone else too, but thank you so much. You've been amazing.
Thank you so much, and by the way, I love your red glasses. Those are so cool. They
Thank you.
match your red lipstick. Look at you.
It's kind of my thing, the red glass or just glasses in general, and I love, like, a good red or dark lipstick,
Cool.
like, one of
I
my few
like it.
things, but thank you for pointing that out,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think we're gonna be friends.
I do too. You have to stay in
Woo.
touch with me and let me know, like, how this works going forward, and if you have any questions, super.
Uh-huh.
Call me, text me, email me, whatever.
Oh my god, okay. Alright, we're besties. I'll talk to you
Alright,
later
let's
then.
go. Alright, you have fun, and you better let me know about the 16 candles tomorrow.
It's happening. Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Like, you'll get a picture later. I actually tagged you in a story, I think yesterday on Instagram, but I've gotta go follow
You
you.
did on Insta? Oh, because I'm not on Facebook. Do you did on Insta? I'll go look at it.
I don't care for Facebook.
I don't either.
Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling weird about Facebook lately. I don't know what it is, but
It's
I'm
just
not
too
r
much. I've just put it in categories. Facebook is just moms that do the humble brag. Like, shut up.
I
Instagram,
guess
I
so,
love
yeah.
because it's people with their businesses, and I always want to support that. And
Yeah.
TikTok is just total entertainment. I just laugh, laugh, laugh. I love it.
There's so much going on over there. Yeah, it's
I
hard to
know.
categorize TikTok. It's a little bit of everything, but yeah,
True.
no, I posted in stories yesterday. I'm trying to get better about, like, I guess, announcing my guests beforehand, seeing if people have questions that I can ask on air or in our recording, right? So it's probably, like, in your filtered messages.
Okay, I will
If
go look.
it might have expired by now, though. But either way, I'm gonna follow you, and I'll follow you
Okay,
on TikTok
perfect,
too.
perfect. And I'll follow you
And,
back. Thank you.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, well, I'll let you go. I'm gonna stop recording, and you can leave whenever you want, but this
Well,
has
this
been
has been
great.
so, so fun. You have my email, right?
I have everything. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
you
gonna
have everything.
stalk you,
All right, then we have to stay in touch.
but we're staying in touch. Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
happening.
And you have a great day. You're very strong. I'm very proud of you for doing what you had to do for your kids. I really am.
Thank thank you so much.
Of
Appreciate that.
course.
Thank you.
No, for real. You have
Alright,
a
bye.
great day.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, we're just gonna keep talking and talking.
We're like, "We don't wanna leave." Okay, I'm gonna hit the
I know,
leave
I don't
button.
wanna
Alright, you have a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow after the movie.
yes, okay.
Okay.
I'll talk to
Okay,
you
bye.
soon. Bye.